Nyojong and welcome to another story session. In today's story, it is a story that I wrote and it has to do with a haunted house. So if you are a fan of listening to haunted houses, stories about haunted houses, then I am sure you will enjoy this one. Now this story I titled it My 6 Experiences. Enjoy. I believe that my old house was haunted. I told my husband that, but he doesn't believe me. Even after listening to the paranormal shit that I've experienced in that house, my husband insisted that it wasn't real. I know he doesn't want to tell me that I'm going crazy, but I sense that he thinks that I am going crazy. Maybe it's true, because who wouldn't go crazy after experiencing all the creepy shit that I've experienced inside that house? Now, listen to what I have experienced and you be the judge. First paranormal experience. I was home alone, of course, while my husband went out to run an errand. My husband was supposed to be back before 7 p.m., but something happened while he was on his errand. He called to let me know that he was going to come home later than expected. He said he hoped to be home before 11 p.m. At first, I was kind of glad because that meant I had more time alone to myself. So I planned to have a long, relaxing hot bath. While I was 30 minutes into relaxing in the tub, I started feeling drowsy. I thought maybe I'll just close my eyes and take a nap in the bathtub. I know that sounds crazy, but hey, I really get the time to myself like this, so I wanted to make the most of what little time I got. It must have only been 5 minutes into my nap when I heard my front door opening and then it slammed shut. This surprised me because my husband wasn't supposed to be home yet. So I yelled out, calling for my husband from inside my bathroom, but no one answered. I called again for him, but still no answer. At this point, I was very alert because I thought maybe a burglar broke into my house. So I quickly got out of the tub and put a towel on. I didn't want to go out and investigate. So I thought the smart thing to do was just lock myself inside my bathroom and call my husband's phone. Thankfully, I had my phone with me inside my bathroom. So I locked the bathroom door and called my husband on the phone. When he picked up, I told him about what happened. He was worried, so he told me to call the cops. So I did. When the cops came, I finally got out of the bathroom. The cops searched all over the house, but they didn't see anyone. Also, they said there was no sign of forced entrance. They just told me to lock my doors and be very careful when I am home alone. Then they left. However, I am very certain that what I heard was real. Someone did open my front door. Maybe they left when they heard me shout out from the bathroom. At least I told myself that to assure myself that I wasn't going crazy. Second experience. My husband was home with me this time. It was during the night. My husband and I were already sleeping in our bed. Then I had to go pee. So I woke up and left the bedroom. Because I just got up, I was still very tired, so I didn't want to open my eyes. Also, I knew my way to the bathroom without having to open my eyes. So I walked in the dark with my eyes closed. I made my way out of my bedroom and into the hallway. Next, I just had to walk like 10 steps down the hallway and make a left turn into the bathroom. I was about to reach the bathroom when I bumped into something. I thought to myself how weird it was. I didn't remember putting anything out in the hallway. With my eyes still closed, I reached out with my hands to feel what it was. As I was feeling it around, it felt like I was touching another person. So I quickly opened my eyes to see what or who it was. To my surprise, I didn't see anyone or anything in front of me. However, I got scared and ran back into my bedroom to go tell my husband about what happened. He was spooked out too, but he went out to investigate anyway. When he came back, he said he searched everywhere and didn't see anyone. It was after this experience that I started to think that maybe my house was haunted. In the third experience, I had experienced sleep paralysis for the first time. Before this experience, I had only heard people talked about them experiencing sleep paralysis. The stories they told gave me the chills, and I hoped to never experience it myself. Unfortunately, I would experience it myself one night. This one night, my husband was out late on an errand again and wouldn't be back till 11 p.m. He called me and told me to not wait up for him. So at 9 p.m., I went to sleep. I probably had my eyes closed for like 15 minutes when I heard my bedroom door opened. I was sleeping on my back, so when I heard the door opened, I tried to sit up, but I couldn't sit up. It was like I had no energy or control of my body. No matter how hard I tried to sit up, I could only lay flat on my back with my eyes opened. Then I heard heavy breathing and someone walking closer towards me. Again, I tried to sit up, but I couldn't. I felt someone standing next to my bedside, but I didn't see anyone. The lights in my room were off too, so my room was dark. I only managed to see somewhat with my eyes adjusted to the dark. I tried to turn my head to look at whatever was standing next to my bedside, but I couldn't move my head too. It was as if my whole body was paralyzed. Then I heard moaning sounds coming from my bedside. Then it seemed like that thing was standing next to my bedside. Yeah, it seemed like that thing that was standing next to my bedside leaned in closer to my ears and moaned into my ears. Ugh, it must have moaned for 10 minutes, or at least it felt like it, before it seemed to have an orgasm. After its orgasm, I heard its heavy breathing and footsteps again, as it sounded like it was making its way out of the bathroom. When that thing finally left my room, I just knocked out. When I woke up, it was morning and my husband was sleeping next to my side. I told him about my experience, but he said I must have been dreaming. I was mad and annoyed at him for not believing me. I'm sure you would be mad too if you were me. In my fourth experience, I was in the bathroom again. That night, my husband and I came home late. We were out visiting his parents and came home late. It was close to midnight when we got home. My husband was too tired, so he said he wasn't going to shower. He just went straight to bed and knocked out. On the other hand, I wanted to clean myself first because I was sweaty. I was showering for like 5 minutes before I heard footsteps and heavy breathing coming from the hallway. Of course, this sounded all too familiar. So I turned off the shower and listened I was to see if I was really hearing it. Sure enough, I heard it walked to the bathroom, then it seemed to stop and stand outside the bathroom door. There was the heavy breathing coming from outside the bathroom door. I was scared, but this time I wasn't paralyzed, so I knew I had the power to defend myself. So I got out of the shower and put my towel on. Then I thought it was best to just scream for my husband. So that's what I did. My husband came running and was knocking at the bathroom door asking if I was all right. Again, I told him about what happened, and again, he didn't believe me. In my fifth experience, I purposely called out to it. I know that sounds crazy and even stupid. Well, looking back at it now, yes, it was stupid. But it went something like this. I was home alone again, as it was approaching night. Around 7 p.m., I had about 2 hours before my husband came home. So I took a kitchen knife with me inside the bathroom. I turned on the shower head and said out loud that I was going to shower. Then I let the shower run as I stood in front of the bathroom door, which I closed. I even had my phone out and recorded it too. I wanted to prove to my husband that I wasn't lying. So, in one hand, I was holding the kitchen knife, and in the other hand, I was holding my phone. Then, about 5 minutes later, I heard the footsteps and heavy breathing coming from outside the hallway. Again, it stopped when it was in front of the bathroom door. Oddly enough, I was excited because now I have captured it on my phone. However, I didn't know what I was going to do. I couldn't scream out for my husband because he wasn't home yet. Then, for whatever reason, I thought that I would just open the door, and if there was someone or something there, then I would just attack it with my knife and record it with my phone. So I opened the door and was ready to attack whoever was outside the door. Surprisingly, I didn't see anyone or anything. However, I was relieved because I honestly did not want to have to fight anyone at all. Then I turned the shower off and went to wait for my husband in the living room. While waiting for him, I played the video that I recorded on my phone. Sure enough, I did capture the heavy breathing. However, this spooked me out even more. Knowing that it was real did not help me at all. I managed to wait up for my husband. When he finally got home, I showed him the video. Strangely, when he watched the video, there was heavy breathing, but the heavy breathing wasn't coming from outside the bathroom door. It was me who was the one breathing heavily. After my husband watched it, he told me I was paranoid. The sixth experience made me seek help from a shaman. That experience happened at night. That night, my husband and I had an argument like every couple do sometimes. Because I was mad at my husband, I told him to sleep out in the living room. So he did, and I went to sleep alone in the bed. I didn't close the bedroom door fully because I was hoping my husband would come in and sleep with me when our minds were cooled off from the heated argument. I was sleeping for about an hour before I heard my husband crawled into the bed. I was sleeping on my side, so my husband crawled in and cuddled me with my back against him. I was too tired. I didn't bother to turn to look at him or talk to him. So I drifted to sleep. The next morning, I woke up around 6 a.m. and noticed my husband had already got up and left the room. I got up to go make some breakfast, but when I walked into the living room, I saw my husband was snoring and still fast asleep on the sofa. So I just let him sleep and went to cook some breakfast for us. While we were eating breakfast, I asked my husband why he came out to sleep on the sofa. He was confused when I asked. He said he never came to sleep with me last night. I told him to stop lying because last night he did come to cuddle with me. He replied that he was serious. He was sleeping out on the sofa all night. When I saw he was serious, I got scared. If it wasn't my husband, then it must have been the ghost or a thing that has been haunting me. I was truly terrified. So I told my husband I was going to go seek help from a shaman. He thought it was unnecessary but didn't stop me. About a week went by and I found my shaman. The shaman was my mom's uncle's son. So I guess that'll make him my cousin, right? I don't know. Maybe. Anyways, this shaman was much older than me. Plus, he has a lot of experience dealing with haunted house. Hence, my mom suggested for me to ask him for help. During the weekend, the shaman came over to the house and did his shamanist rituals or practices. I'm not going to explain in detail about the actual shaman ritual because the ritual took a long time. Plus, I wouldn't know how to really describe it. So I'm just going to skip to the results. After the shaman finished doing his ritual, he seemed very tired and exhausted, which I don't blame him. For an old man to do what he did for hours must be very exhausting. Anyways, the shaman told me that there was indeed a ghost inside the house. He continued telling me that the ghost was an outside ghost, meaning it didn't belong in the house. The shaman continued to say that the ghost actually followed my husband home because my husband was always going out all the time and he didn't have anything to protect him from evil spirits. That was why this ghost was able to follow my husband home. The shaman continued, explaining that when this ghost entered our house and saw me, he fell in love with me. At first, the ghost was very shy, but once he knew that my husband was always out of the house, it gave him the courage to make itself known to me. Then the shaman said that the ghost actually loved me so much It basically became my bodyguard. When I heard this, I'm not going to lie, I thought it was kind of sweet. Lastly, the shaman said that he was able to convince this ghost to leave the house, but he warned us too that this ghost might come back. So the safer thing to do was move out of the house. After the shaman left, my husband and I talked it out, and my husband said he still had his doubts. I was done with him. I told him that if he wanted to, he can stay in that house alone by himself. I was going to go and stay at my parents' until we find a new house. So that's what we did. I stayed at my parents' house for about a week before my husband finally agreed to move out of that house. The crazy thing was that the new family that came to live at our old house said that they keep hearing noises like heavy breathing and footsteps walking in the hallway at night. I didn't want to tell that family about the ghost because I didn't want to associate myself with that house anymore. I am just glad I'm far away from that house. And yes, to this day, my husband still doesn't believe there was a ghost in that house. I think he is some kind of stupid, yo. Alrighty, and that concludes this story. Alrighty, guys. Sorry, I just had to switch my voice back. Anyways, yes, that concludes this story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys enjoyed it, click the like button. If you guys didn't enjoy it, click the dislike button. If you guys have any questions or comments, write them down in the comment section below. Do all that jazz. And I just want to say quickly thank you to all those who subscribed to my YouTube channel. It means a lot. It's very encouraging to see that you guys, are actually watching my stories. It's very encouraging. So I just want to say thank you. And yeah, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Until next time, take care.